Hey guys, this video is in response to the recent allegations that have been, got you. Nothing has happened. Jack shit has happened. It's been over 10 years since I've made a YouTube account, and probably somewhere around like 9 to 10 years since I started uploading. And I figured I'd make a state of the channel, because I haven't uploaded in nearly a year, and the one upload that I do upload, I finished in December and never finished one of the promised parts of it. And so I figured I'd finally explain where I've been for real this time and tell you where I'm headed, because it's odd and hard to explain. I had a script for this initially, and I put it on a Windows XP machine that I've been restoring for over a year now that has a failing hard drive, and go figure, I try and look for it and it's not there anymore. So we're just spitting out the whole thing in one go, and it's it's gonna be fun. In order to decipher where we're headed, I need to talk about where I'm coming from, and I'm going to give a fairly long explanation of everything up until this point, so if you don't want to hear it, skip to this timestamp. Right there, yep, skip there. But, here we go into the whole history of this channel. Contrary to what my channel actually reflects, my first video was not better quality doggos. It's in the YouTube Shorts section because a lot of old videos got converted to shorts, which I hate. All of my good stuff used to be videos and now they're shorts, and so you don't see them on the front page anymore. Thanks, YouTube. My first video on the channel is Doggo Does a Force. And I had a few before then, but I purged them, and I have no idea. Now, you can't recover them at all. From there, I uploaded a few more videos of my dog, and I was doing all this off of an LG VN220 flip phone, which I'll put an image of here. I still actually have the phone, and the camera still works. But that's what everything was recorded on, and that's why it was so crap, and it was all in a really weird aspect ratio, and the resolution was all messed up. But that's what I made. And I didn't quite care about what I was making, because that's not why I was doing YouTube at the time. See, before here, I was doing everything as, if I could, I'd upload it. So whatever my little Samsung tablet could upload, I'd upload that. Here was different. I had started to become part of a community, and it was a weird one that was all inspired by this guy named Justin Y, who a few years ago gained fame for being on like every comment section on every video that you watched. And he was doing it all by hand. It wasn't automated. And so I can't even remember the years, but I decided to join him and a few other people and get my name out there, and to an extent I did. Granted, I wasn't nearly as popular as, you know, Justin Y, How to Clean Your Metal Computer, I Don't Deserve Subs, but I was out there, and if you knew where to look, you'd find me. In fact, I think some of them are still up there. I didn't upload very high quality stuff because I didn't have to. That's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be a part of this community. And if you look at I Don't Deserve Subs, if his channel is still up there, this is about the same kind of quality that he was uploading. Anyway, there were a lot of us, and I got introduced to a lot of people who were integral to this channel's success. People being Andaloin, Mapping, if you're still there, I know you're on like your 5th channel, bud, but I Don't Deserve Subs is another one. Beyond Tubular is another one. I think Beyond Tubular is still subbed to me. There were a lot, and all of them were just so crucial to my success because all of them had linked me on their channel in one way or another. And that opened the floodgates that really got the ball rolling. If it weren't for these guys, I'd be sitting at 40 subscribers right now, which is, it's saying something. And while all of them have since disappeared or quit YouTube, I've outlasted them, which is weird, because videos weren't something I really wanted to make in the first place. But the more I experimented with it, and the more I kept using this little flip phone to its absolute limit, the more I found myself enjoying it. And whether it had been the attention or whatever, really, I was starting to really like doing it. The people I were meeting online were amazing. And I still keep in contact with a few of them today. And so I went from uploading low-quality videos of my dog, or just sliding on ice, or something funny that I thought of in maybe 15 seconds. I started to put a little more effort into my stuff, and this is where you can start going into videos and seeing where that happens. It honestly doesn't start with better quality doggos. I would say it starts with video game healing in a nutshell. It was about then that I started, hey, I want to do something, I want to do this. And while I wasn't quite sure what this was, I knew it involved making videos, and I'd find it soon enough. And it's only thanks to the people who were around me in these earlier days that I was able to figure out what this is and what I wanted to do. And I'm going to name drop as many as I can from memory, but because YouTube doesn't let you look at who subscribed to you anymore, terrible feature remover, by the way. Also, my settings thing was removed, so I can't actually recommend channels anymore. Well, here we go. From what I can remember, and I'll add more in the comments, so check the pinned one. Andaloin, mapping, beyond tubular. How to properly clean your metal computer. I don't deserve subs. This one's probably the most important. Class Quill, however you say it. Cubes, if you still go by that name, bud. Splooge, although I know you don't usually go by that. Most of these people's names have changed, and I'd rather not drop their names. Other ones that came later or were otherwise incredibly influential to the channel, I'm putting also in that pinned comment, because I can't thank you guys enough. If it weren't for the countless of criticisms and critiques and, just being there, everything that you all did, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have this hobby of mine that I cherish so much. But good things don't last forever, and I got invited to a Council of YouTube Discord server, and it wasn't long after I was invited to that server that the whole community started to fall apart. And it wasn't like any big drama or anything, it happened. People lost interest, and that's alright. Things change. And the final nail in the coffin was, Justin Y retiring. The one guy who had pretty much spearheaded this whole thing was gone now. And there was this vacuum to fill who's going to be the next one, and nobody was. Nobody could be. Because they weren't him. And it really didn't take long for it all to fizzle out past that. I got banned from the Council of YouTube server. I don't even remember why. I don't think I ever said anything in there. And it all fragmented and fell apart very quickly. Those channels that I listed off there, I really only remember them because they stuck around. I had grouped up with them in a weird way. I wasn't like a big prominent figure, but I was there, and I guess they tolerated me, and that was good enough. Well, I had to fill the void somehow. Commenting wasn't a big thing anymore. can't really do that. No one's ever going to be another Justin Y. You know, bots are taking off and everything. You're never going to live up to them. So do your own thing. And that's what I was doing. I was going through a lot of thinking, and if it wasn't apparent by things like username.jpg, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I got really lucky, because at the same time, a genre of videos called .exe videos had wildly popular, and I know I was behind the curve with them, but they were still popular. I liked them. I watched a lot of them, and I figured I could make one. And so that's exactly what I set out to try and do. I tried to make one. And that was my first ever heavily edited video, SCP Machine Go Burr. This video stands out to me in a lot of ways. It's very clearly what I would become. You can see the blueprint is there. It just needs refining. It needs polishing. It needed work, but overall it wasn't a bad video. It started out as just a clip compilation. I wasn't confident in editing. I was using a pirated version of Lightworks, and for whatever reason it only let you use 2 audio channels and 1 video channel. And so you'll notice whenever I play a sound effect or something, it'll cut out the game audio or my audio because I simply didn't have enough to work with. But I wanted to get the EXE down. And so come the 096 segment, you'll notice that the game audio just disappears after a while. The longer this video goes on, you can tell that I got more and more confident with editing. And it's a good watch. It's jank, and it's not great, especially when compared to the later things I'd go on to make. But the blueprints are there, and overall, it's pretty enjoyable. It leads us into Brand Cells, which was an immediate follow-up I did. And it wasn't great. While I wouldn't regard it as the worst thing I've ever uploaded, it's not stellar. I know I have a pinned comment on there that says this is the worst video I've made by a long shot, but my recent rewatch of it has problems, but it's also a lot more polished than SCP Machine Go Burr. In total, I'd say they're pretty much 2 in the same. I was much more confident making Brand Cells, and I really felt that I could do anything. And that's what I did when I got to my Terraria video, which has a bit of an interesting one behind it. I tried to do things like music syncing here. By this point, I actually had a real version of Lightworks. I don't know why it took me that long, but I did. I had a real version of Lightworks. And I could edit what I wanted to now. Making the Terraria video was tough, especially because Lightworks has a lot of limitations, especially on the free version at the time. But I made do with it, and in all, the video is pretty enjoyable, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of all 3 of them. And immediately after the video dropped, I got doxxed. Which is amazing for a 13, 14-year-old to be going through. You know, on top of school, the pandemic was just about to hit and everything. That's amazing. Because all of a sudden, one of the only hobbies I had was gone. And I had to scrub myself almost entirely from the internet. I thought that everyone who had still stuck around was gone by the time I finally returned. And it was only to my surprise that they were still there and wondering what happened. I don't know if the video is still up and unlisted. If it is unlisted, I'll relist it. But it takes a lot out of you, and it's not fun. In fact, it's all still up there. Maybe I haven't checked in a few years, but last I checked it was still there, which is not great. But it is what it is, and you move on. And that's what I did. Well, the dates don't reflect what actually happened. At the time, there was a feature where you could hide your Google account, and that's what I did. It prompt disappeared for 4 or 5 months. And I would upload a video and it'd be unlisted, and that's just what I did. So when I relisted my channel, I think around September, I relisted the videos, made that other video saying, hey, this happened, yeah, you know, that was kind of shit. And people received it better than I thought, and that gave me enough hope to come out swinging. And with how confident I was with Lightworks, I came out swinging. A lot of the people that I have asked and discussed this channel with still say that the Imposter Experience is the best video I've ever made. And this starts probably the single best era in the channel's life. After the Imposter Experience, which is a definitive EXE video, it's probably the only one that follows all of the conventional schemes that an EXE should follow. It's even above the 10-minute mark. I kept the ball rolling, and I kept moving. I made, corruption holes and a bunch of other little memes. And then when I hit 100 subs, I made my favorite special ever of I Cook You in the Microwave. I will not be answering any questions about this video, so don't ask. Sandwich was the next one. Sandwich was interesting because it was never meant to be uploaded. That was a school project for my my physical education class. It was never meant to see the light of day, and I put it out there with like a minute left to spare on the turn-in date. And lo and behold, people really liked it. And I don't know why, because it's just like a sandwich sitting on my garage floor. Which, you know what? And I kept it rolling. I Pet the Dog, Cyberpunk 2004, a few other things. We get to Time Break. Time Break was actually recorded way before SCP Machine Goes Burr, and it sat dormant on that flip phone for years, and that's why the video is such a strange quality, because that phone's compression was just odd. But Time Break is a good game, I guess. Oh no, it's just I guess. Yeah, whatever. That brought a lot of problems. It was a really simple video. I didn't care too much making it. In fact, when I made it, it was kind of like, I want to do something with this, but it's not like chaotic enough for an EXE. I'll just throw this together, do what I can with it. And to that, it succeeds. I thought the game was somewhat fun. I recommend it for a 30-minute experience. What I wasn't expecting was for it to get stolen, and there being nothing I could do about it. It was stolen by a news company. It was stolen by the Wired Up report, and I tried to get into contact with them, and I never could. Which sucked, because their upload of the video got thousands of views. Which really hurt. And I can't find the article now, and if I ever do, I'll put it in that big pinned comment down there. But I know I can never find it. And it hurt, because I didn't have anything on there that said, that was me, I did this, I made this. And so you just kind of had to suck it up and move on. You're a high school student. You're not going to be able to sue them. You can't sue them. They just get away with that. They'll run ads on it all day, and you'll never see a cent of it. And you just have to accept it and move on. Oh well, I figured I'll put watermarks on everything else from here on out. It was after that I was pretty disheartened. I mean, My worst video I've ever uploaded was the PSA 10 times Nitro. It was so lazy. I could have done way better on it, but I didn't. Because I didn't want to. Then you hit the Roblox series, which I didn't want to do EXE editing for that. It's pretty time intensive, and I figured the rest of it would carry pretty good. And for the first two it did, although I still regret not using the rest of the footage for Paras International. We played that game for 2 hours, and almost the entire time was hysterical laughter. So I have my regrets, but it's about now that I actually start getting attention. And I believe this is when YouTube Shorts was in its infancy. And because of Shorts, that's about where things started kicking off. Because I uploaded a vertical video and it converted it to a short, whatever, great. Moving to the final of the Roblox series, it was lazy. And it wasn't even the finale of it. I lost the footage for the finale of it when I burnt myself out. And I kept being burnt out for a while. You can see that I didn't make any of the mainline stuff for a long time. And, you know, life happens. School is a big part of it. You know, you need to pass school. I'm, by this point, a junior something in high school. And I gotta start figuring out what I want to do with myself. So, you know, don't upload as much. When you do upload, you don't really want to make something, but at the same time, you really want to make something. We'll touch on this later. And this continued for a very long time until we eventually hit the Goose War with Class Quill. This is what single-handedly saved the channel. Because, you know, I probably would have uploaded after this point, but it wouldn't have been anything quality. And it was nice to know that people still cared. And that some of the people that were there initially were still here. That war got me, you know, ready to make something again. And that was just awesome. It was amazing. And I still joke with Class Quill a lot about, you know, restarting the Goose War, because that was funny. I loved that little time. And I made the Terraria with a bit of stoop, and that was really a good comeback. And from there, I had a new direction. I knew what I wanted to do. But throughout all of this, you could still tell that something was missing, and I was still uploading a lot of low effort stuff. And Secret Lab is great, and it's chaotic, and the game's getting nice updates, but you can only watch it so many times. I branched out to CSGO with a Wii remote, and the sequel is still in the works. I have a faulty Wi-Fi chip, and you'll see it eventually. But we hit the final section of this phase with the Squid game. And my only regret with this video is not putting, well, I got two. It's not putting more effort into it, because I definitely could have. I mean, you have all the AI there that can't speak anyway, so why not give them a voice with the sound effects and everything? I just didn't do it. I was too lazy. But two, I didn't advertise it good enough, because I still see clips of this guy playing this game. And in the comments, people are always like, oh, what is this game? I'd kill to see a full video of it. And I remember that I made one, but I never advertised it good enough for it to be worth anything. And it's not, you really can't. I did what I could, but whatever. And that, I got burnt out. I burnt out again. You can see it. I made some low quality stuff, still tried to be funny. And it wasn't until getting a DUI in BattleBit that I got the steam back. I got the engine going again. And for those who were involved in the production of getting a DUI in BattleBit Remastered, I apologize. In fact, past this point, most of my videos are not just me. There are 2-3 other collaborators, or in the case of getting a DUI and BattleBit Remastered, 16 collaborators. I did the video production and all of the editing, but we were going to have a whole court segment at the end of it, where I go to court for every single crime that I committed in the video, and by extension in all of my other videos. And it was going to be great, and on 2 separate occasions it fell through due to internal drama. I still regret not being able to make it go through. And I apologize for wasting everybody's time and putting y'all through it. Ain't much I can really do except apologize. A lot of the drama that happened there was very personal between a few of the members that I had brought on. And that's on me for bringing them, both on when that was bound to happen. Maybe one day, but not today, or anytime soon. Got disheartened by that a bit. Kept uploading every now and again, every few months. Do whatever. I made another BattleBit one, and it's a good video, but it goes on for too long, and it's not that interesting. And it was after that, by that point, I had graduated high school. I was working full time, and I'm about to head into college, which is a totally different game. And so I made that wear on my video. I spent an embarrassingly long amount of time on that video. I made it. I made a whole bunch of other follow-up ones that you can follow a chain in the comments through. And that was a good place to leave it. I figured that was the single best place that I could leave it. And I did. For several months. Winter break comes around. School semester didn't go great. But I've got time to work on a hobby I haven't been able to touch for a long time, and I very dearly missed. And so I did. Lethal Company was a big thing. I picked up the game. It was a blast. I loved it. And I stitched together this whole video in probably a month. And I had a 3-second bit where I was going to rotoscope a falling animation. And I did. And I still have the rotoscope to it, but I couldn't get it to work with DaVinci, and so I never uploaded the video. It was done around December. A lot of other things happened in my life, and I moved away from the channel because, hey, it's not my #1 priority. Things were going wrong, and that happens. Things get tough. Move on. And it wasn't until, the start of the summer that I get back on my computer, and I had totally forgotten that I made this thing, stitched it together, and just decided to not include the rotoscoped scene. And that's where we are now. When the footage isn't corrupting, I have about 4 or 5 videos just lined up. Some of them are so close to being done that I could just spend an afternoon and do it. Get it done. Get it out there. But I don't. Because I don't want to. And it's not, you don't want to produce videos anymore. It's not, you just don't want to make things anymore. It's not that I'm busy. I am when school starts, but it's that I don't like what I'm making. Don't get me wrong, I love the videos that I've made. And I'm very proud of every single one that I've sat down and given that time commitment to make. And I love making them. Simple as. But I can't help but feel that they don't have value. They don't mean anything. For a very long time, I wanted to make something that meant something. And we're coming back to that Roblox series because I had a video that told a story, and it was amazing. The short summary of it was we found this role-playing game, nuclear role-playing game, and we were going to go and we were going to destroy the reactor. And simple as, we didn't have any reason going into it, and I decided to make it like some spy operation video. You know, we're going in, we're going to plant C4 in this reactor and blow it to bits. And I could never have anticipated what happened in that video. Because all of a sudden, the server broke into like... that Roblox game, those 40 minutes of playtime, became a story that I couldn't... I just had to be made. And so people were trying to stop us, and we were trying to get around them. And there was this one dude who we managed to convince, but he really didn't like us. I still follow him on Roblox too. I can't remember his name, but I'll put his account up there. And what happened was, you know, the place is melting down, and we need that final push. And I decided it's going to be great for footage to go in and quote-unquote plant C4 charges. And so we go in, and what we don't expect to see is I go in the reactor, and I'm dying from it because of the radiation, and I'm coming out into the airlock, and this dude comes in, and he says, "I'm plant C4." And I tell him, "No, you'll die." He presses the button on the airlock, turns around, and force shuts the door so I can't get through to stop him. And the last thing that I see of him is the screen shake, there's an explosion, and a distant oof. And we all screamed at it. It was a genuine loss, and it was amazing. I couldn't write the feeling that it put on you watching it. And then we had to try and escape. And we didn't. And it ended on a somber note. But man, was it a good story. And I never finished it. And at some point in the year that I was working on it, on and off, the footage was corrupted. And since then, I've been mourning the loss of it. But while producing that, something that had a story and had an emotional impact, something that felt like it had substance and value, I realized everything else I was making didn't. It was enjoyable to watch. You could pick it up, watch it, and you'd forget about it by tomorrow morning. Sure, it's fun, it's good content to watch, easily consumable. But the more that I have matured, and the more that I mourn the loss of this video, the more that I realize that I want to make something meaningful and impactful. And it's only recently that I've really committed to it. Because until then I've been thinking, well great, how can I bend my current content into something that is meaningful and is impactful? Something that you won't forget. And it wasn't until I really started looking at the internet as in a more critical light and seeing the issues with it that I've started to dislike it. This thing that I've grown up with all of my life, you know, first generation to be raised by the iPad or whatever, and you know, it's been there. It's just been there. It's just something that everyone's on, you know, and it's fun, and you're there all the time. And it never occurred to me that it was bad for me. And the more I learned about it, the more I learned the worse for me it is. Everybody's talking about like brain rot now and how bad it's gotten. And it stings to realize that you were doing it 4 years ago. You were one of the people who were on the leading edge of this. And while sure, I've never made short form, zero attention span content, what I actually do make isn't much better. EXE videos aren't, you know, they're like junk food, and sure, some of them are a masterclass in editing, and that's what I love about them, is that you can show off how good you can edit there. It can't help but make me feel that, hey, you're only contributing to this problem. And after that, I didn't want to make anything anymore. And that's why I have 4 or 5 of these lined up and ready to go. But every time I open the file, I just look at them. And I'm not able to pinpoint why I can't bring myself to. But I just can't. Because I still want to make videos. I love filming and I love video editing. But I can't bring myself to be like that. I don't like that. And it was then that I realized that, you know, you can make these and people can enjoy them for 6-7 minutes, whatever the length of the video is. They'll forget about it by the end of the night. Or you can make something that'll stick with people. And you can broadcast a thing to people. And you can use this hobby as an art form, because I haven't seen it as one until recently. All of this made me realize that the chasing I had done to be successful, follow all those guys who had already done this to be successful, you know, upload fast, regularly, keep this high, nitpick everything, you know, you have to edit like this. I already didn't care about a lot of it in the first place, because I'll be damned if I start editing like Mr. Beast. I despise that editing style and that form of content. I agree with Jacksepticeye there in every way. But I stopped caring about what everyone else there has to say. And that's not saying I don't want criticism. I need criticism. I want it. I need it. But that I don't care how to be successful anymore. I'm going to make what I really want to make. An extension of myself. That's what this is. I want to return to this being a hobby, not some chore I have to sit down and do. Because, you know, that's where I've been making these big videos lately. Now, I'm still gonna edit EXE videos. I get a huge kick out of making them every now and again. But I'm gonna start making new things. And I have no idea what those new things are going to entail. I haven't figured it out yet. Much like back when the commenter community fell apart and, you know, faded off into oblivion and I was without purpose and not knowing where to go next. I'm in the same position here. I'm just gonna do it again. I'm gonna power on and I'm gonna figure something out. In fact, you know, I've already got a documentary that I've been making in my free time every now and again, interviewing real people and going to see real locations about a historical event that happened 50-something years ago. Yeah, that's in the works. We'll see where it's going. Truth be told, as long as I still get to make what I want to make, I'll stick around on this platform. And if I can't on here anymore, since, you know, you have to be advertiser friendly, which is another thing I really don't care about. Advertisers can suck my balls. I'll move somewhere else. And I'll keep doing what I want to do there. You know, I really don't care that much anymore. And there's something weirdly beautiful about it. Something that I put so much time and stress and thought into. Something that was supposed to be a fun hobby is suddenly back to being a fun hobby. I can just sit down and do it again. You know, I don't have to worry about all these, oh, is my thumbnail good enough? Do I have to, oh god, what do I gotta change my thumbnail and the video title like a day after I make it so it can get a second spike. Yeah, I don't care anymore. It's nice. And I know that I'm one of the last remaining EXE YouTubers. And this is only going to add to the fading out of that little genre. But I think it's about time to put that genre to rest. You know, it was great way back when, but there's only so many sound effects you can use. And back then, you know, memes were different. Everything was different. I was different. A lot of change is happening, for the better and for the worse. Truth be told, I'm open to almost anything now. If you guys are even still listening, if anyone's still listening, and you want to see something, drop it in the comments. You know, aside from some things which I feel like I've been somewhat clear on, I want to branch out. You know, I've had ideas for a short film, a few short films I want to make. That documentary is still going, and the research stage is almost entirely done. Now I just have to contact the right people to interview them and build the thing, make music for it, figure out a visual style. Yeah, things are changing. That's pretty much everything that's going on here. And for the better or for the worse, I don't know. I figure it's going to get a lot worse before it's going to get a lot better. If it ever gets better at all. No, it will. For those of you who have been here since the beginning, thank you. And that's genuine. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't have picked up this hobby in filmmaking, and I certainly wouldn't be where I am now. Not just in YouTube, but in life as a whole. I can't even begin to thank you guys enough. I might not be able to thank you enough with words, but I can thank you with quality. And a promise that as bad as things are going to get, they're going to get better. I'm excited for it. So, as another semester of school starts, and my free time is evaporating before my very eyes, and the engine that I have, and the drive that I have to create videos is spooling down and running out of fuel, I'm hopeful. And I can't wait to see what the future holds. This is a 43-minute long recording. I've been spitballing for that long. Although I don't think I can compress it anymore. This isn't going to be a well-edited video. I start school tomorrow, and I will not have the free time to edit this with the class load I'm taking this semester. But I might not be able to video edit. I can write. And write is something I'm going to do. Come the winter, you'll start seeing some of these new things. And a continuation of the old. I have a lot more that I want to say, and a lot more choice opinions about YouTube and the state of making videos and content creation as a whole, even on other platforms outside of YouTube, like, you know, Instagram or TikTok. God, I hate TikTok. That's more for a different video. I got out the main gripes that I wanted to get out here. This is more about like a internal conflict that I've been going through and where I've really been. And that's all I've got to say for now. If you watch to the end, I'll tell you what, drop the word cookie in the comments, and you'll be in my next video or whatever. I don't know. Because that's 45 minutes of me ranting that you just listened to. And I appreciate it. So, signing out for the last time for the next 4 months. This is Starfur. No. However you say it. Signing out. You guys have a good evening. Bye-bye.